Welcome to Deja Brila Presents. Now, for those of you that are new to the show, every week I like to touch base on beneficial topics with beneficial people who can help make your life a better one. So today my guest is a fashion designer named Lenora Gray, who's a creator of a high fashion line called Belle Massacre. So let's meet her today and see what inspired her journey to success and how she got where she is. Lenora, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
Yes, thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, as we were speaking about earlier, I was so inspired by your line when I originally met you, and like I said, I just kept looking at this flyer, and your pieces are dope.
Thank you.
Yes, so you did. I was like, okay, I definitely got to have her on the show.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming. Now, Belle Massacre is a very unique name.
It is.
And after looking at it, I noticed that your pieces are very different and unique as well. So tell me, where did the name Belle Massacre originally come from, and how did you say it's different from other custom designs or designers out there?
So Belle Massacre really came from, there are two strong elements that I feel like live within inside of me. And Belle is that kind of soft, subtle, the girly feminine, which is where I'm walking now today,
Nice.
My feminine side.
Nice.
I'm very feminine. And then the massacre is that other element, that I feel lives inside of me. She's very tenacious. She's strong. She's fiery. She's fierce, she has a very can-do attitude. And together, I feel like those two elements really, make they're me, and I also feel like there are a lot of other women as well. So I felt like the brand itself, it was a very true representation of who I am, but also a representation of who a lot of women are. We carry that, we really do,
right.
Like physically we carry very feminine and masculine energy.
No,
so
we do.
Really that's where that name comes from. Just wanting to, create a name that really spoke to who I am. So that's where my name comes from. And then it's different because my work is different, or my artistry, I should say, is different in a sense that when I create with those concepts in mind. So when you look
like
at
feminism, womanly, powerful.
Yeah, they're really pillars of my brand. They really become pillars of my brand. So now recently, not so much when I first started, but now I can say that as I design, I feel like I keep those elements in mind. If I'm sketching or if I'm drawing or if I'm creating something, I can look at it and say like, I feel like that's a more softer piece or a softer element. That fabric may be a little softer, and it might, drape around the woman's neck or her breast or her, just like those softer parts of her waist, things like that. And then, you have those more staple pieces, the element of the piece that may hold the whole piece together. It might be like the structural elements or, like a darker fabric or a stronger looking fabric.
So kind of like depending on what event you're attending or what your goal is.
Yeah, whatever the objective is, specifically for whatever, the women call out. But what amazes me is the women who are attracted to my brand, they call those things out automatically, which is why I feel like that's what makes me different. When I design, the women who I design for, those pieces, they just somehow come to fruition. I can call it out like, that would be more of, that feminine.
Elegant.
Yeah.
And that's what, I said, that's what drew me to you as well, because when I'm looking at the card, I'm like, well, one, red is my favorite color, but also I'm very into just dresses and feminism and just things that stand out from others. And when I seen your piece originally, I'm like, wow, this is so my style. Like it's very unique, but it's also, it's sexy, it's elegant, it's classy, So I feel like, oh, this is 100% a statement piece.
Thank you.
So I see what your motivation was behind that.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing. So to get your clientele, do people normally contact you and tell you like what type of event they're going to, or do you just you see like you're watching TV, for example, or you have a vision, you just start sketching like somebody's gonna like this dress?
So both. If I'm just sketching, or I just want that bow, that's how the bow came about.
Oh, really?
The bow came about like that.
'Cause I haven't seen that bow before.
Yes, so I'm a very original designer, and I like to say that because it is the truth. It's the honest to God truth.
Right.
Like, my designs, I believe they come from God, or like,
Yeah.
it's like I could look up and something like
just hit you.
Yeah, something really hits me. First of all, I want to kind of set the record straight. I've been drawing and designing since I was a baby girl, baby girl. Like, this is all I know. So if I'm drawing, I'll make something and I'll maybe post it, or kind of like, and for me it's art, you know, so not necessarily to sell it or anything, but just to post it, and if somebody wants to buy it, then they can, or if somebody wants to purchase it, they can. But in regards to like my, women hitting me up or clients, contacting me, it'll, be through either like my email or like Instagram or something like that. And they'll tell me they love my work and, they're interested in either something that I've already done or they have an idea in mind,
Nice, like they already seen it. So you would say that's what separates you from other custom designers?
Yes.
Because it's like you don't really kind of look at what you see, you just kind of get a gift and it just kind of just sketch.
I do not. And if you talk to anybody that I've ever designed for, they will tell you I'm very, very big on that. Like, it's because a lot of people, it takes them a lot to get it out,
right.
what they
want. Have a vision and then it's hard to actually bring it into reality,
so they'll send something that may be close to what they want. And what I'll tell them, is as a designer, I don't copy the work of other designers. So if you do send me something, they'll maybe I'll have them send over like maybe 4 or 5 images of something, and as a designer, I can kind of look at those images and see like, well, each piece has like long sleeves, or each piece has a deep V neck, or each piece has a slit, so I'll pull out those elements that I feel like they want more, and I'll ask them like, is this what it is that you're interested in? And because I can draw, I'll take those elements and, comprise them into maybe like 4 or 5 designs of my own, send it over to them, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, that's what I want right there.
Right.
So that's how I design, and I feel like giving, people just the opportunity to do that is what sets me apart. I'm not sure of other, how other designers design or what their process is, but, just keeping the customer in the forefront of the whole design process.
Of what they want.
Of what they want is really, I feel like, what sets me apart, because they tell me like, I've never gone through this before, or nobody's ever done this. And stores don't do that. You can't go into the store and be like, I want this, and this.
Exactly.
You can't do that.
Wow.
So as a custom designer, I do feel like that's what sets me apart.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
Okay, so that actually goes into my next question. Since you said you have been sketching since you were a child. Well, first, I was going to say, what age were you when you actually realized that you wanted to be in the fashion industry, and where did that motivation come from? So I'm guessing it came from your childhood.
Yes, did. I was about 6.
Wow.
I was about 6 when I knew that I didn't know what the word fashion designer was or what it was to be a designer, but I knew that I wanted to make clothes. And I would tell people that, like, I want to do clothes.
Yeah.
Like, as a little girl, like, I would say, like, I want to do clothes,
Like, I want to do that when I grow up.
Yeah, and my mom, God rest her soul, my mother, she, the way she was, like, it's my older sister, me, my baby brother, my baby sister. So kind of like a little backstory on my, how it came about. Like, she would have us either on like a Sunday iron clothes, pick out outfits, for my younger siblings. And I always loved to do that.
Really?
Like, I wanted the whole job. I wanted to do that. I'm like, I'll find everybody's clothes. I'll iron everybody's clothes. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to, like, pick the shirts, the pants, match the belts, like everything.
So while kids are playing Barbies, you're playing with clothes, and picking out shirts and stuff.
I wanted to do that. And then my mother was a very big inspiration in that, because like, she wasn't a designer. She was a model. Like, I believe in her time, she wanted to model, very beautiful. Yeah. And she loved clothes. Although she wasn't a designer, I could tell that she had a love for like very fine, elegant clothing. So like, she would spend time matching like her blouse to her pants or her trousers or whatever, or just like very fine pieces. My mother loved very elegant, very stylish, very elegant, classy.
Nice.
And I remember I would watch her do all that, and I just saw how happy it made her. And for some reason, I just knew that I wanted to give that same happiness that she had while she was in that moment. I wanted to give it to other people. I didn't know how I was going to do it then, but I knew that it was going to be through the vehicle of fashion.
That is amazing. And rest in peace to your mother.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Look how you turned out, and look at how much you got inspired by her. That is beautiful.
Very inspired by her.
It really is. Okay. Nice. So my next question is, what category and price point would you say Belle Massacre fits in, and how would you actually describe it to those who haven't ever seen your pieces before?
Okay. You said the category is very high end. High fashion. Yes, very high fashion.
Right. So basically, you have to be going somewhere to wear this.
Yes, and a lot of people say that, and I just because it sounds nice or it's it's just truth. A lot of it's high end.
I got a custom fit. It's high end.
Yeah, and for me, high end or high fashion, it's really the quality of the piece that goes into it. The love, the passion, the craftsmanship that goes into, what I do, which is why I consider what I do very, very high fashion. And I'm not even there just yet, to be honest. I know that I have a ways to still
go. But you still have bigger goals.
Yeah, but if I'm being honest, it's very high end, and I like to call it also fine art. So if you come to my Instagram, you'll see that I think in my bio it says fine art in high fashion.
I believe I did see that.
It is very fine art, very artistic pieces. The bowl, when I seen it, it looked like a piece of art to me. I think one of my favorite pictures is of me in that red, like on a couch somewhere. It just looks like a piece of art.
It does look like a piece of art. That's the one that caught my eye. That's what I'm
that's the one that's on the flyer.
I was like, okay, this is a dope.
Very statement. So a lot of people, we can make clothes, but what does it say? What is the statement?
Right.
For me as an artist, it's very important to, say, who I am as an artist within what I do, my clothing. And so as an artist, my clothes resemble art,
Nice. So you would say high fashion, and for those who aren't familiar with high fashion clothes, to clarify, it is basically the time that it takes putting into the piece and the material that's used.
Yes, the quality, the craftsmanship, all of those things play a very big part in, something being considered, to me, high fashion. And so that's the category. And then the price range is very exclusive, very value-based pricing. And that's really because of the perceived value that people put on my work,
Nice.
And luckily I've been very fortunate to operate, with exclusive pricing, and for those who don't know, it's on the higher scale.
Nice. So estimating, which she doesn't want to tell us just yet, but it's like, so what would you say, where was your starting point, and what's the highest piece that you've ever sold?
I'm gonna go with prom, just because prom is a very exclusive type of thing for young ladies. So a prom dress or a gown will probably start anywhere over, just say $1,000, between $1,000 to $1,200. And that's just really the starting price.
And this is the lowest.
Yeah. And to be honest, I've gone lower, just to help, and that's something else that I want to touch on too. But just to help, especially in this time right now, especially for prom, the younger girls, it's rough on them. So I don't want to hit them over the head with like super, super high prices and stuff like that. I get it. I'm definitely a designer with integrity and moral, so I get it. But just my brand itself, it's very exclusive.
But you said you're proud of your work, so you have to kind of get charged what you put into
what I put into it. So it's very exclusive pricing, very value-based pricing, because of the perceived value, that the world has on my work, and it's nothing less than, great. And I'm not just saying it because it's me. This is real life, like feedback and, things that people tell me about my work. I remember this kind of a short story. I did a piece for a young lady at Clark Atlanta. Clark is a very, illustrious school. So I went to school with a lot of, famous kids and stuff like that.
Right.
And this young lady, one of my favorite people, her name is Lourdes. She is best friends with Regine, Little Wayne's daughter. Her sister is, I forget her sister's name, but you know, she is family with like Sonique and Tiny and them, you know.
The whole Atlanta.
Yeah. And we love Lourdes, very beautiful person. And long story short, she gave me an opportunity to create for her 21st birthday.
Nice.
Yep, and that was kind of like my first, you know, for me, you know, big person that I was able to design for,
that's
you know,
huge.
Especially in college. And
actually goes to my next question, but I'll let you.
Okay, I'm always
no,
jumping
you're
ahead.
good. No, I was gonna say that, but that's amazing. So you would say you're pretty flexible. So you start at $1,200, and you would say your highest price that you charge would be how much?
Between like 3,000 and 4,000.
4,000.
Yeah,
Nice.
and that's for like gowns.
Gowns.
Yeah, like
High-end
really
gowns.
high-end gowns. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so my next question, kind of what you were just going into, what would you say, I don't know if that was your proudest moment, but what would you say was your proudest moment where you actually realized like, wow, I am really living my dreams or making my visions a reality? Because I see you have made many designs for a lot of celebrities in the industry. So what would you say was like your moment where it actually hit you like, I can't believe God's making this happen?
That was a big moment for me. That was a really big moment for me. That was kind of what kind of catapulted Belle Massacre into working with, you know, like bigger people. The moment that I was just speaking of working with
that
Lourdes.
was the entry of celebrity clients.
And that's kind of going back to what I was just saying. I remember a lot of the comments were like, this looks like something out of Beyonce's closet, and this looks like, that's when people started tagging like Rihanna and Beyonce and just it was that piece that I did for Lourdes. So that's really what why I, you know, wanted to touch on that. But I wouldn't say that would be like my most memorable moment. It actually just happened for me.
Wow, I know she was telling us a little bit about, you know, she's working with a very, very big A-list celebrity right now, who she can't say the name, but tell us a little bit about how that opportunity came about and what actually you were doing with that celebrity.
So it actually came through, and I don't want to say too much.
Yeah.
It came through my mentor, bless her heart, Jasmine Crow. I want to give her a shout out, Jasmine Crow. It came through my mentor and her little sister, Marley Crow.
Nice.
It came through those ladies, but I was able to meet another designer who was working on a project, a very big project. Working on a project, and he saw my work and he wanted to know if I would be a part of the project. And so I told him that I would. Without knowing who it was, I told him that I would. And then he actually told me who it was. And I was like, it was kind of like one of those type of moments.
And I can't wait until she actually drops the name. This is a big deal.
Yeah, it was really, really a big deal for me. And so long story short, we worked on the project for about a week. And then I was able to, you know, come on set, you know, visit on set and work alongside with the other designers, the wardrobe team, and then ultimately get a chance to, you know, be around this person. And again, I don't want to say too much, but yes, that was the moment I knew that I was living in my dreams, you know. And I want to touch on something that's really, really big. It's called imposter syndrome. You're familiar with imposter syndrome, correct?
Briefly, but for those who aren't, tell us about
imposter syndrome, this was very big for me. And it's very beneficial, you know, for women like us, especially going into the arena of, you know, going and doing big stuff.
Right.
Like we are, you know. You can feel like you're not supposed to be there, or, you know, like just scared. Or
like, I can't believe this is really happening.
Not even so much you can't believe that it's happening, but there's a sense of you not really feeling deserving of being in that area. Yeah, you know. And so that happened to me while I was there on set. That happened to me.
Really?
And it took me a minute to kind of get out of my own way and get out of my own head and understand.
Like, God wouldn't make this happen if it wasn't
supposed to happen. Yeah, and it took me about 5 minutes.
Also, it didn't take her too long.
It didn't take me long.
It
didn't take me too long, but it definitely took me like 5 minutes to say, like, because I kept feeling like as close as I was, I'm like, there's no way I can be this close to this person. Like, somebody's gonna come move me. Somebody's definitely gonna come scoop me over. Like, you can't be this close, you know. And nobody ever did.
And you're just sweating on the inside.
Oh my goodness, I was on the inside like, I know, like, somebody's gonna come over me in like 5 seconds, and nobody did, you know. And it took me again like 5 minutes to kind of get over that. And after
I meant to be here.
After I relaxed and kind of, just started mingling and being myself. I think they saw that and people just started to gravitate towards me, and it felt like family. It really felt like family. So I think that would be the moment where I felt like it hit me that I'm really living in my dreams.
That is amazing. Well, like I said, I cannot. Congratulations for that opportunity.
Thank you.
You are well deserving. You're very hardworking. And
thank you.
You have a beautiful spirit at the same time.
Thank you so much.
That goes a long way in this industry.
Thank you.
There are many designers, but I would say, even from when I originally met you, that's a big thing that I feel like separates you from other designers out there,
Thank you so
definitely
much.
keep that up.
I appreciate it.
So my next question, before you leave, is I read that you also have your BA in fashion design and an MBA in business from Clark Atlanta.
I do.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
That's
you.
a big accomplishment. So for future inspiring designers out there, what would you say? Would you say that it's necessary to have a degree to get involved in the fashion industry, or would you say it's something that you can basically learn along the way? Or would you say it really helps you? Because I hear a lot of things that you need school, you don't need school, and a lot of people go back and forth. It's a big topic,
it is,
especially today. So what would you say? Is it mandatory or no?
It's not mandatory, but you have to be the person who's going to be honest with yourself and say what it is that you need
from that degree.
What are you going to take away from that degree? And for me, I knew that I wanted to go learn. Granted, you could sit behind a computer and watch YouTube or go take classes. You can't do that, but I actually wanted the college experience. I wanted to attend an HBCU. So I wanted that experience. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to go get this experience, why not go get it in something that I actually want to do in life, So, and learn from it.
Exactly.
So me, when I went back to college, I was a little older. And I have leaving high school, I did go to college, but I took some time off. So when I went back to college, which was to my HBCU, I was a little older. And so
But you still went back.
I still went back. I did.
A lot of people take a year off
and won't never go back. So it really just, again, depends on what you want out of the degree, And so I knew that I wanted to take what I was learning, which is what I'm, very important. Take what I was learning and apply it at face value as I went, because when I went back to college, I was already in the beginning process of building Belle Massacre. So for me,
going to school, this is going to advance my fashion. I want to learn everything I can about
and
fashion.
I was literally, they was putting it in me and I was putting it in my business, So I don't think it's mandatory that you go to school, but just know how you're going to get that information,
Exactly.
And for me, I didn't know anybody who sewed,
Right.
Where I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and it's not a lot of people
Midwest.
who sew.
Okay, shout out to the Midwest.
Midwest, yes. It wasn't a lot of people. To be honest, I don't think I knew maybe one person, but nobody who had gone off and did what I wanted to do.
Right, because you're thinking major.
I always have nothing small. I've never really thought small. So I'm like, I have to go off and go and get this information. And so to me, that's what school really gave me, for my bachelor's. And then my master's, I love business. Mm-hmm. And granted, you can either start a business and learn along the way, fail along the way, lose money along the way, which is really what you do in school. So you really just got to decide which is going to be best for you.
Exactly.
You can either go learn over here or learn over there.
Or if you
however,
however,
it makes sense for you. So it's not mandatory that you go to school. It's not, something that you have to do to be a part of the industry.
It's more to each its own.
It's more to each its own.
Yeah.
If you feel like that's going to help, then, go do it. And if you feel like you can get it elsewhere, just make sure you go get it elsewhere and, do
just
it.
Educate
yourself.
Information, no matter how
you get it. You get it. Yes.
That's amazing. Okay, awesome. So before you leave us today, also let us know what can we expect next from Belle Massacre. So what do you have coming up that everybody can be on the lookout for?
Big things. I'm speaking that into existence. No, I really do have some big things on the horizon. I'm looking to come out with a collection. First of all, I'm looking to produce my own fashion show, my very first fashion show. I've never done that.
Oh, that's
I'm going to produce a really, really big fashion show. But then I'm also looking to enter into the market with a mass customization kind of, and that's another topic for another day. But a mass customization collection.
Yeah.
So that's pretty big for me. And then also, you know, what I was just speaking about in regards to the set that I was
Big
just
celebrity
on.
that you're working with. Yeah.
And I don't want to say I'm working with them because it's not a continuous thing that
But you never know. It may be. Look, we're speaking this into existence.
Yes, it definitely could be.
It
It definitely could be something that, and I thought about that too. I did. I'm like, this could be something that's continuous. But for right now, it was just something that I had the opportunity to be a part of in a set that I was able to work on. So that's probably the next biggest thing that, you know, people would be able to see from me.
That's awesome. Perfect. So my last question is, if you could leave, and we'll, before she leaves here today, we'll attach all her social information and website so you guys can check her out. But last and not least, if you could leave any future entrepreneurs and designers out there with any piece of advice, what would you say?
Ooh, walk by faith and not by sight. So walk by faith and not by sight. You know, they look scary. You know, things are not always going to be easy, and things are not always going to be what they seem in this physical world. But if you believe in a higher power, and God is my friend, you know, if you believe in a higher power, you know, just always stay grounded, stay with him, stay connected, and know that, you know, if this is your purpose, if this is something that you're supposed to be doing, that he's going to get you there. God has a very, you know, funny way of getting us to where we need to be, even when it looks like we're not where we want to be.
When we least expect it.
When we least expect it, he gets us to where he needs us to be. So walk by faith and not by sight would definitely be the biggest thing that I could leave with any, you know, up and coming fashion designer, just entrepreneur, period, you know.
Nice. Well, that is an amazing piece of advice. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and when you have your fashion show, definitely let me know.
You're going to be there.
I will put it on the show and let everybody know about it. Definitely keep me posted. But also, so where's the best place for everybody to find you?
Instagram right now. So Belle Massacre Official. That's Instagram. So Belle Massacre Official. You're going to drop that in there.
I'm going to drop that also at the bottom of the screen.
So really, Belle Massacre, I'm working on my website. I got some things going for my website that I want to have on there prior to me launching it. But for right now, definitely Instagram.
Awesome. Okay, so definitely be on the lookout for Instagram. Like I said, I will attach her social media links as well as her website. And thank you again for coming,
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
For sure. Well, that wraps it up today, guys, for Deja Brila Presents, and I will see you next week.